Este es nuestro rezo, sí, aquí, Chicano, Mexica Connection, Rocco Pachucote en la Cali, desde los barrios de Tenochtitlán, México, Los Ángeles, Califastlán, Kiba, Meteo.
Movimientos de los 4 elementos, se tomaron los momentos para crear estos centros, que los tiempos ni los vientos podrán con estos templos, que no vengan con inventos, falsedades y con cuentos. Somos descendientes de una gente inteligente, utilizando siempre mente sabia como serpiente sabia. Toda la gente que no es nada diferente, lo que ve, lo que se siente, espíritu presente. Fue invocado, llamado del otro lado, porque todo antepasado lo dejó aquí bien grabado, que no fuera olvidado y que fuera estudiado, así todo lo creado sea elevado. Somos gente de ciencia honrando creación, ciencia y religión siempre tuvo conexión. Y México, el ombligo con la luna, como esta ciudad no hay ninguna.
Ciudad celestial, corazón del mundo, ahí es donde nació mi pensamiento profundo. Águila nopal, la voz del jaguar, te escribo mis letras con pluma de quetzal. Mi mensaje es antiguo, te canto medicina. Yo soy como una espina, difícil de quitar. Yo soy como una rola de maldita vecindad, enlocando la gente, te abro tu mente. Yo soy descendiente de esta tierra mexicana, aunque yo vengo del otro lado de Tijuana. La L, la A, Califastlán, y los que no me crean, mi sangre es mi prueba.
Plazo Kamadli, Impalemoani, El Hu en la Calico Rocco, Donali, from ancestors who are still with us, guide us, unite us, uplift us through a spiral flow, mind, body, and soul, connected con elementos, luna y sol, from the future we flow, trascendiendo tiempo como los templos.
Ometeut, Omesiwa, Ometeut, Omesiwa, Ometeut, Omesiwa, Aquí estamos, estuvimos y estaremos. Somos la semilla que plantaron los abuelos. Como pidió Cuauhtémoc, pasaron de padres a hijos el saber de los ancestros. Por los 4 rumbos propagaron este rezo. Pueblos indígenas, guardianes del tiempo. Cuenta de los días anunciaba este momento. Aquí y ahora, este es nuestro tiempo. El sol que nos alumbra, sol de movimiento. Somos agua, somos tierra, somos fuego, somos viento. Y estamos caminando en unidad y movimiento. La gente de la tierra ha llamado a la acción y por todo el mundo se ha escuchado su voz. Afila la palabra, cultiva la esperanza. Abajo y a la izquierda nuestros corazones cantan. Para todos la luz, para todos la paz. Por nuestra madre tierra y toda la humanidad. Mexicas y chicanos, juntos caminamos. El camino rojo, el saber del toltecayo. Somos flor y canto, sonido digital. Músicas nuevas, raíz ancestral. Aceptamos la misión, somos cantores de paz. Tlahuilos grafiteros, danzantes de ciudad. Somos flor y canto, sonido digital. Llamando a los hermanos, es el tiempo de unidad. Es el tiempo de unidad. Meteo.
Somos gente de ciencia honrando creación, ciencia y religión siempre tuvo conexión. Y México, el ombligo con la luna, como esta ciudad no hay ninguna.
Ometeut, Omesiwa, Ometeut, Omesiwa, Ometeut, Omesiwa, Ometeut.
Podcast, Las Aslanitas podcast. What is going on, Zero?
A whole community. How you doing? What's up, Mondo?
We got some early birds in the building. Make sure you guys like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and text the video link to a friend, a family member.
Absolutely.
You know, now's the time, dude.
Yeah.
I've prior to the show, I'm gonna be putting out a lot more content, at least 2-3 more shorts per week on our YouTube and Instagram. I'm going to start segmenting our live episodes into 4 parts moving forward. We're going to start putting all of our episodes back on Spotify and iTunes. We're even considering opening up a Rumble. We're going to be releasing merch consistently. Why? Because it's all going to tie in to Zero's new music releases.
Absolutely. So I've recently been writing a lot because a lot has been happening to me in my life. And I don't like to complain about it. I like to put it into perspective through art. Art is my vehicle to explain my reality. And so, yeah, I've been writing, and I'm just at the verge of releasing the new single, Global Pandemic. Shout out to Sub One. He just gave me the artwork for it. It'll be a lyric video that we're going to release first on YouTube. But, you know, when we ask you to come and download it from Bandcamp or support in that way, it's not really that we're asking you to buy a soda or a hamburger or a meal or a shirt. When you go and download the new material, or when you go to our website and you buy our shirt, you're letting us have the freedom to research, put together events, and keep you informed about what we feel the climate is in our communities. It's very important to get your engagement.
Look, every episode, we look at the numbers. We have a handful. We have like 300, 400, 500 people who tune in to our episodes. It's been consistent for the past fucking 4 years, Zero.
Right. Because I feel like we say we have relevant topics. We're
Well, we're definitely not Joe Rogan, and we're not No Jumper. Almost every episode that I remember, there's always, food for thought. There's always something to take away from it,
I think
I want to get Mazzacine back.
And we can, and we will. And Daniel and everyone else. I think that in the whole 100,
we're going to start bringing back all of our old guests.
100 and what is it? 100 and
we're 129.
129.
We're on episode 129 right now, live.
129 times we've come together.
And this is not even including those Wednesday segments that we did and then we removed, because it was just like, it was during COVID. We had nothing better else to do.
Right. Sharing information with the community has always been something that I love to do. I don't often get a chance to, have these conversations because I'm a pretty busy person, but recently in my life, a lot of things have changed and shifted, and I feel like my music deserves first. It deserves the attention to be first. Nothing will ever be first in my family, but what I mean is my children have graduated college. They're good. I think they're telling me that it's time for me to really put a good focus in on what I've loved to do all my life, but I've been a father, and I'm not going to hurt my children to fulfill something that has always and will always be, whether I decide to put music out or not, it will always be a part of me. I will always be that recording artist. There was just certain circumstances that kept us from, advancing. We were never a pop group. We were a group that decided to be underground and delve into the mysteries of our ancestry that gave us a lot of wisdom and a lot of direction. And now we find ourselves in the times that we used to talk about 20 years ago. We're in that time now. And more so, we need to communicate more often, which is what Mondo is suggesting, right? By putting out the shorts and doing an extra day, pre-recording. I believe that the message is relevant. I mean, we always, we talk about what the current events are and how we should perceive them and how our community should bond together in answering what their destruction is trying to invoke. We have to be very critical during this time. But nevertheless, the time has come for us to realize the truth. And the truth is that we're very intelligent people and that we have a large community and that we need to bond together more so than ever. More so than when Cesar Chavez united the farm workers. More so than Dr. Martin Luther King started the civil rights movement. This is a time where the powers that be can no longer perpetuate the lie of greatness. You can't be great if you stole, if you raped, and if you abused the original people of the land.
Well, I sent this clip to Zero. It was quite shocking, right, Zero?
Right.
Because, this doesn't surprise me. It still exists, and it's probably more rampant than ever right now. The mentality that these men have, Let's go ahead and showcase this to the audience.
For Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport...
Let's run that back. Hold on.
You voted for Donald Trump when you're so into facts, because his entire campaign is not based in facts. It was all based in propaganda and emotion.
I voted for Donald Trump for one reason only. His policies, if implemented, would slow the dispossession of whites in the United States. If he were to deport all illegal immigrants, if he were to think very hard about letting in any Muslims, all of this would slow the rate at which whites are becoming a minority.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
I am not shocked. I am not surprised, right? That's the land that we live on right there.
Well, that's what he was meaning by, ending DEI or whatever was it called? The minority hiring and stuff, because they felt like, whoa, what if we give.
So do they really think that the white people of this land are getting basically extinct?
I'm not sure that's it seems that way, like they're getting extinct, right? More so like this. More like if you walk into a room 100 times and 99 times or 50 times, the whole room is 80% white and maybe 2% black or Hispanic.
And you know what? That is a reality, though. See, a lot of people live in a bubble. If you hardly travel and you live in LA and SoCal your whole life, but the minute you go east, I've been on tour, Zero. It's a whole different land, bro.
Yeah,
totally. There's white people everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're the minority,
right? Well, not necessarily. Maybe in that region, but in terms of population, we still outnumber them. Yeah. Because we're the biggest population on this continent. We're just of mixed blood. That doesn't disqualify us from being the original people of this land. That never will disqualify, especially if that imposition of blood was done through rape and, devious motives.
Why are you so worried about the white dispossession of America?
Because I want my people to survive.
What he means is that
he wants his people to survive.
No,
that's all he cares about.
When he walks into that room, and the room that I just described, and 90% are white and it's 2% colored, then there's a sense of dominance. But when he walks into the room and 40% is black and 60% is white, even though they have more numbers, they feel infringed on. Like, who let this many people to the table? That's what he means.
So strange. We don't control China. We don't control any place where whites are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore. When my ancestors built this nation, they did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider, you keep saying your ancestors built this country. You consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Black people, Native Americans, Chinese people who came and built the railroads.
Do you think none of that could have been
Italian
achieved?
people.
But they're Europeans, aren't they?
Fuck, dude. You think that couldn't be achieved? No, man, because you guys were lazy as fuck, and you guys demanded that the slaves do the work, and if they didn't, they would be killed on the spot. Like that was the norm, right?
Well, what I think
The Asians built the railroads.
Well, I mean, a group of people created what we call the United States. It wasn't just whites.
But then he said, "Well, you don't think we could have done it?"
Well, what he said was, who do you think built it? And just because you have the idea and you drew out the plans, doesn't mean you actually made it all come into fruition. It takes a bunch of people to make the plans come to life. And that's the arrogance that they're carrying. But it stems from generation of passing the buck. Okay? His grandfather, this guy that's sitting there, this old guy, this older gentleman who's there, who happens to be of the white race, his grandfather said, hey, you deal with the problems that I created 50 years ago, because I'm dead, so you clean up the mess. And so on, and so on, and now we got Donald Trump. Right?
And that's why he voted for Donald Trump, because if Donald Trump implements his policies, it's going to save the white race.
Well, in his eyes, but you know what saves your race better than that? Than brute force, bigotry, corruption, knowledge. Knowledge sustains the next generation. So it has to come to a place where it cracks or it falls apart or it dissolves.
But I think he does have a point when he says, well, we never intended to give this country away to Mexicans, Indians, Asians.
Well,
I think that's what they really think.
What he means by that is that I never wanted to be equal with, like say, for instance, everyone owned the plantation and only plantation people would sit at that table. Every time he would sit at that table, it would just be white people. It's kind of the same thing that I'm saying about the room. But the minute he starts to see 5 colored people, he feels threatened.
Damn. It's
because it needs to be.
It's in his genetic.
White.
It's in his genetic memory.
Exactly. Right? He just is fearful. Like what he means by, oh, we weren't going to intend to give it away, because they go, well, if they let 5 in, they're going to let 10 in, and if they let 10 in, eventually they'll let 15 in, and then we're only going to be 5, and they're going to be 15, and guess what? We just gave away our country.
And we don't run China. We don't really run anything but the United States.
Right. And they don't even run that. It's weird. It's all an illusion. Like,
damn, man.
It's all
that shit got me heated though. Like listening to this man, like this is. But I don't blame him, bro. I don't blame him, because that's his way of living.
Yeah, that's what he's been taught for, ever. That his race is dominant and his race is, and really it isn't. They're living off the wealth and passing it, and eventually you're going to have no more wealth. Just because you have money doesn't mean you have wealth. People have to like you. People have to buy your products. People have to want to support you. This is what I've seen in like music when it gets older, right? Like, classic gangstar is now like classic jazz, because there's new versions of hip hop, completely different, sounds completely different. We can't do anything about the erasure of time. And this is where the elites find themselves.
Well, this guy, he just looks like a random, typical CEO of a company or a corporation that's based out of the United States, right? Like he's just a typical white man with the suit and who just thinks he's better than everyone else.
Because his grandfather gave him a lot of money. I doubt he started from nothing and became that. When people talk in that way, that means their grandfathers or their families have been, passing down wealth instead of passing down knowledge.
Is he passing that way of thinking to his kids?
Of course. That's why they feel that. And unfortunately, his kids or his grandkids are going to run into a brick wall, because people of color are eventually going to get back to their sense and go, this is our land. We are not going to exploit it. We are not going to take it. And I'm not talking about today, but 100 years from now. This is why we're doing things generationally. Because what we do now is going to affect someone 7 generations from now. This is what happened to me.
It just, he had to make it clear that, hey, just to remind everyone, the white people built this country. Right? Like he had a.
Okay, but if the Anglo-colonials built this country, they did it with a lot of help because they didn't even know the dangers. Like Lewis and Clark had to go through these trails that were carved out already by natives. It wasn't like they were carving a trail, an empty trail to the west. But on the way, they needed help. They got sick. Natives fucking healed them with herbs and said, fuck, this guy's crazy, but he still wants to keep going. And they never give you credit for that because they think kindness is weakness. They think that, oh, wow, you're the stupid guy that helped me. Now I'm going to take your land. And they think that that's weak, and it's not weak. It's power. It's understanding the connections that you have with Mother Earth and all the elements that create our life.
And it fathers me how when he says things like this, he in his head, he feels like he's not offending anybody. Mm-hmm. You get me, Zero?
Yeah, you're right. Like he's so arrogant about it. And this is the same guy. His ancestors were the ones that were freezing in the cold while the natives were telling them, dude, we need to move. You know, we don't stay here the whole year. And his ancestors and his attitude and his greatness of, we're going to stay here. And then they come back and they end up, 4 of them end up dying because they have no food. It got too cold. They didn't know how to keep the wood dry. All these factors that come with understanding the land.
And then it's the elite mentality, like, well, we don't control China. Well, I bet they would want to, right?
Mm-hmm. And in a sense, they kind of do because the U.S. dollar at the moment is still the world currency. So if no U.S. dollars are going to China, it's going to hurt them. It's going to impact them. But China knows that it's going to go through a little bit of a disruption, but they already have deals with Brazil, India. These countries outnumber the U.S. population by so much.
Are not a majority. And if we become a minority, we will not control our own destiny anymore. But
we will not control our own destiny anymore. Are you fucking serious, Cyril? Fucking destiny?
And their destiny has always been to exploit others, to pollute the very land that you live on. This is what they want forever. It's like...
And this Asian dude is just looking at him like, bro, like, God bless you, bro, right? Like, just, there's nothing he could do.
You know, I wonder if his opinion, this, colonial, I wonder if his opinion would be different if he was, like, not so wealthy. I mean, he gets to be arrogant and, go on social media, but then jump in his, $300,000 a year, salary job or whatever.
Ancestors built this nation. They did not build it with the intention of giving it away to Mexicans or Chinese or Haitians or to anyone else.
Do you consider it, you keep saying your ancestors built this country. You consider that a fact?
Who else built it?
Fuck, just the way he said that shit. Right. Well, who else built it?
Well, let's just be fair. A lot of poor whites.
Look, we do live in the United States, right, Zero?
A lot of poor Mexicans, a lot of poor natives, a lot of poor Asians. That's who built it. And I just don't think we realize how distorted colonial, capitalistic, psychopathic thinking is.
It's like they take credit no matter what.
Right.
Because there's the money. The money gets the credit.
In their eyes.
Like you could claim it if you have the money.
In their eyes, yeah.
And back then, they weren't even paying.
Right.
Fucking they were slaves.
Well, but they got rich off of it. They sold the products to other whites or anyone else who was, wealthy and had money. So this shift is big in the way that individuals that think like this individual that we just showcased, who is of colonial descent and colonial perspective, are in a 10.0 earthquake. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Because
there is studies, though, that show that within 20, 30 years, yes, the white Caucasian race in the United States is going to get smaller, smaller, smaller.
Yeah, because they're unhealthy. They're the ones that are obese. You know, when they say that the U.S. is obese or whatever, it's those guys. They're talking about them, the white race. It's not, I'm not saying that people of other races aren't unhealthy, but they're the ones that eat all the McDonald's, KFC, and those corporations exist because of them. We eat other foods.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there. Like when McDonald's and KFC started, there was nothing but white people buying that shit.
Right.
Color
Taco
people
Bell.
weren't even allowed to even buy McDonald's back then.
Yeah. So, it's them it's not because they're getting extinct, it's because they're super unhealthy. They don't take care of their health. You can't eat fast food every day.
His solution is to vote for Trump.
Because I guess they have this delusion that they're superior. It's a regurgitation. It's a time loop. I talk about it in the new single that.
And like you said, everywhere he goes, he drives in his fucking Rolls Royce. He goes to the markets and he sees more and more people that are not of his color.
And that concerns him because he goes, well, I used to go to the grocery store and I never used to see any of them. It was all whites. Now there's a billionaire Indian guy and a millionaire Mexican guy and a Asian, whatever.
They're not just.
It's not just his race.
They're not just day laborers or people who work in construction anymore.
No, these people have been here for generations and now own companies, own businesses that have been very successful and now are wealthy just like him. And that's what he means by giving it away. Just because people have achieved.
They never attended it, though, to give it away.
Yeah. Well, they said, and what that means is that I never wanted to see anybody of color close to my status. And if I get to see 50% of the population of millionaires are colored, then we are becoming a minority. It's a very twisted way of thinking.
It's extremely twisted.
Yeah. Because they don't concentrate on...
He comfortably goes home and sleeps very well with that mentality,
Yeah, it doesn't bug him at all. And that's and the thing is that it's not like they're if he really wanted to be for the white race or do anything in that nature, to help his whatever he calls his people or the white race.
His destiny.
Wouldn't you think that he would invest in like healthier programs for the communities of whites that live in trailer parks and, all the unhealthy whites, right? Because the majority, majority of the people in the middle of the country
we just
are very poor.
We just had an influx of viewers. Just a disclaimer, we're not attacking any white people.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No.
Just discussing,
don't misunderstand.
Yeah, we're just discussing a segment that we just dropped. This guy just viciously just talks. And
no, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, look, Mexico is going through a complete opposite of revolution, where they're trying to become more socialist, more for the people, more investing more into their communities or making college free or making it easy to get a job in tech or because they're investing in their people so that their people can make good products for their business people, right? And they go and trade globally. That's totally the opposite of what the U.S. does. The U.S. is cutting school, it's cutting aid, it's cutting all these things, and they expect a great population to come out of it. You can't be a great population if they're cutting all the aid. It's totally opposite than what, and I'm not saying Mexico is perfect, but at least they're showing attempts to try to invest in their own communities, in their own people. They're the ones going, oh, wow, you want to learn how to be a computer science guy? Okay, cool, we'll pay for it. Or you can go to school for free. That's not what happens in the U.S. In the U.S., you have to fucking go into debt just to even learn and even try and get a chance to get a job after college. You have to be very lucky to come out of college and get a nice job. If not, you're getting paid what everybody else gets paid. And you still have to pay your debt, your student loan. It's not the same as other countries that invest in their own community and their own population. I heard a story about Libya once when Gaddafi was in power, and they said that there was no homeless in Lebanon. No homeless. Everyone had at least a place or an apartment to go to. And that if you wanted to be a doctor, he would pay for your education anywhere across the globe. If you wanted to go study in England, you got full ride. That's what you call investing into your population. Because when they get educated, they're going to come right back home into a house, not on the streets, not trying to figure out how they're going to pay their student loans, not settling for any job. But, I mean, Gaddafi had it going on for his country prior to the U.S. You know, what took him out was that he wanted to create an African dollar backed by gold. But he was one of the most progressive leaders, and there was a bunch of propaganda against him. But nobody's perfect, but when your population has zero homeless, and they will pay for your education no matter if you're poor or rich or whatever, I mean, that's a pretty good leader. Someone who understands how to diversify the wealth of the country. He wrote a book. I think it's called The Green Book or something like that.
Healthcare for his people. He built state-of-the-art medical facilities, providing access. 5 wonderful things Gaddafi did for the Libyans that you don't know. First, Gaddafi ensured free education for all Libyans. He established a robust education system, giving everyone the chance to pursue their dreams. Second, Gaddafi prioritized healthcare for his people. He built state-of-the-art medical facilities, providing accessible and quality healthcare for all. Third, Gaddafi transformed Libya into an economic powerhouse. He invested in infrastructure and industries, creating jobs and boosting the country's economy. Fourth, Gaddafi championed women's rights. He empowered women, granting them equal opportunities and representation. Fifth, Gaddafi united the Libyan people. He fostered national unity, promoting peace and harmony among diverse communities. 5 wonderful things.
Well, no wonder they fucking took him out.
Well, and then and you got this other guy going, "Oh, I voted for Trump because it's going to preserve the white race." But no, none of them prioritize like Gaddafi prioritized his people by free medical education.
He truly reinvested into his community.
Exactly. Where Trump is trying to sell off everything he can, create even worse corrupt systems than even the Democrats had. I was explaining it to one of my friends today when we were talking. I go, people. To put this in a like a metaphor, right? It's like having an abusive husband, right? And the wife is the population, right? The U.S. population. And then we have the Democrats, which is an abusive husband, but he takes you inside the house and he beats you up, right? And then there's a second type, and then we divorce that that husband. And now we have this another abusive husband, but he doesn't take you into the house. He slaps you in front of everyone. That's Trump. But they're both abusive. And we're trying to pick from the most, they're both equally abusive. It's just that one takes you inside the house and he beats you. And Trump, he doesn't care. He'll beat you in front of everyone. This is who we have to pick from. This is the system. Democrat and Republican. The Democrat, he takes you in the house and beats you. The Republican will beat you in front of everyone. They're both abusive is my point. None of them invest into the community just like we got examples from. I mean, there are other leaders across the world that do actually care about their communities. And they don't think that the money that they get from the government is for them to get richer. It's meant for the people to get richer as a community, as a country, as a system. And it's totally opposite here. Here we just have people who are just get greedier. And like I said, would you rather have the husband that takes you inside the house and beats you up? Or would you rather have the husband that takes you and just beats you up whenever he wants to beat you up in front of people? Whatever. They're both extremely abusive. And this is the system that's cracking. The foundation is breaking because you can't abuse people forever. You can't take advantage of people forever. Eventually, they're going to say enough. And I think that's what's happening across, not only here in the United States, but I think globally.
So that's just a reminder, guys, that thinking that way is going to get you nowhere, bro. He's already a millionaire. I can already tell, right? Like, this fucker probably makes all his money off of stocks.
That or, real estate. Probably, like I said, got inherited. He probably never had to work a day in his life, at all. It's just probably inherited. That's why they have that attitude. Because they never really have to suffer or work. The one thing about the Mexica culture, the culture of our ancient past, I heard one of the maestros say that they used to hand a broom to the leader. And the leader would be responsible for cleaning up the ceremonial space or I don't want to call it a palace, but, the ceremonial grounds. Because the teocalis were just monuments to mark celestial events and thus
everyone knows you need a lawyer.
Ceremonial grounds. So I thought that was a humble story to know that at least one time out of the year or the month, the people that thought was that the person that the people thought sit at the highest seat would sweep the ceremonial grounds.
Well, Lester, tonight, India says it has targeted 9 sites, quote, hitting terrorist infrastructure. In new video, explosions can be seen and heard in what Pakistan says is 3 areas, saying civilians, including a child, have been killed. We're also getting in this new video of chaotic scenes in a Pakistan hospital. Tensions between the 2 nuclear armed force powers soared after a deadly militant attack on tourists on Indian-administered Kashmir last month. There has been a long-running dispute over Kashmir between India and Pakistan for decades. And tonight, Lester, Pakistan just said it shot down 2 Indian jets. All of it a major test for President Trump, who tonight said, "It's a shame. I just hope it ends very quickly." Lester?
Well, what a coincidence that India now is in conflict after they're trying to implement BRICS. Right? Now they're going to be thrusted into war. That's going to screw everything up. It's really intense right now. It's really intense because I think the powers that be want to hold on forever, but that's just not the way nature works. Eventually, you wither away and die. You have to learn how to accept that. That's what I love about our Mexica culture. It understood that. It understood that at one point, no matter how beautiful your flower grew, it was going to wither away and die. And we had to know how to deal with that. And we did. We planted our seeds in the dirt. Those seeds grew into plants and new vegetation. That new vegetation is us. Remembering our ancient ways, our ancient practices, our perspectives about how we deal with ourselves and the community that we live in, which ultimately puts us in the environment that we live in.
Well, when countries take drastic measures like that, bro, it's just, you know,
it just
seems weird because in the United States it's fucking Disneyland. Everyone's going to concerts. Everyone's going out to eat. It's just, you know, nothing will ever go wrong apparently in the United States.
I wouldn't put it too much past because it just seems interesting, like who's being involved right now. You know what I mean? Like India is a part of BRICS. You know, China's a part of BRICS. Brazil's a part of BRICS. Russia's a part of BRICS. All of them have been kind of weirdly attacked.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And that's because they are challenging the world order, the old world order, which was the U.S. petrodollar. But now that, you know, the world has gotten braver to confront the bullies, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing, you know,
aggression.
These aggressions happening in countries that are being a part of trying to take the dollar out of its dominance. And Trump is desperately, desperately trying to keep hold of this old world.
His mentality is the same mentality that this old man
Exactly.
has.
Exactly.
They're all part of the same fucking table.
Like, if you ask that man, okay, so you're voted for Trump so that you can preserve the white race. How long do you think you're going to preserve it for? Is it going to be forever? Are you going to be dominant forever? Forever and ever? Like you're never going to go against nature? Nature will never wither your flower? That doesn't make sense to me. At one point, our abuelos turned to us and said, we were going to be gone. At one point, the eldership said that. There's going to be a sign, and from that point on, we will slowly start to wither and die. This person doesn't think that way. This person actually thinks that he's going to be a ruler forever. That's so far out of the way that nature works. And this is why they're crumbling as well. I think that our ancestors sustained long periods of time where the societies were together and they were working together to better the cosmovision that we had collectively. But at one point, our cycle ends. And these people refuse to see that. People that think like that man that just explained how he built this country because he had the money to do it or because he had the bloodline or whatever it is that was in his head.
So then he admitted that he didn't build this country or they didn't build the country because he was like, well, you know, are you saying that we couldn't have done it? You know?
Yeah. Well, I just know that his mentality is like never dying, always in power. Like that just never will happen. Like even Hitler went down. You know what I mean? Like everybody goes down. Even the Roman Empire went down. It just transformed into the Roman Catholic Church. But they all go down. All of them. And it gets dangerous when they don't want to let go. That's when it gets dangerous. That's when people start popping off bombs off to each other, and because they refuse to let go. They would rather blow it up instead of give it to anyone. Just like he said, we never intended to give it away to Mexicans or Asians or whatever.
You're right, because once they see it's going down that path, they're gonna fucking blow it up.
Fuck it. I'd rather blow it up than give it to you. That's them. That's their mentality. Now, let's just hope that they were bluffing when they talked about all that bullshit that they were inventing, but maybe not. The point is, your grandfathers did not pass down wisdom. They passed down money. Money is not wisdom. Wisdom gets carried on through generation after generation after generation. Money can do the same, but at one point, it will all be gone. Then you have to rely on the wisdom. This is what I love about our grandfathers. They gave us wisdom. They knew our lives were going to get harder, but that wisdom would keep us strong. That wisdom is going to see us through this time. We just got to believe in ourselves and believe in each other. This is the only way we survive. Believing in each other, respecting each other, and trusting the wisdom that was passed down to us so that we can pass it down to our next 7 generations. And they can pass it down to their next 7 generations. This is the goal.
You know, I have more respect for Asians, Chinese, Indian people because, you know, he just lumped us all into the same box. You feel me? I think these people not just hate Mexicans, but they hate everyone.
Yeah, anyone who isn't white.
He was just like Asians, Mexicans, Indians. You guys are all part of the same fucking cabal.
Right. Same loser category. When we were the ones that physically built the thing. You know, they took our ideas from our tribal structures. They use our calculations.
He didn't mention any black people.
No. He's not going to. Because he feels in his heart and in his mind that their people are superior. But there's no such a thing as superior. There are those that can survive in harsh climates. There are those that are smart enough to build innovative things to help them with the environment that they live in. It's not about being rich. It's about sustaining yourself on a very dangerous planet. We got really comfortable with being comfortable, but it's not that comfortable to live on this planet. Some people have to walk for miles to get water. Some people have to search all day for wood to start a fire, to make a meal. We are very comfortable with being comfortable.
Yeah, right here you can just hop in your car and go to McDonald's and get a meal.
Yeah. Where in
just
other
like that.
when
in fucking Pakistan they're getting bombed.
Yeah, or in Pakistan they have to, walk 2 miles to go get some water so that they can make the bread. It's different. It's a different reality. But we are so comfortable with being comfortable that we're easy to control and manipulate. That's the way I see it. But the more you get uncomfortable, the more you challenge yourself, the more you don't follow the norm, right? Create your own path with the wisdoms that our ancestors gave us. those wisdoms help allow you to make your own path in a very difficult space, which we call Earth.
Yeah, I'm just curious what Matsasine would say after hearing this old gentleman that's like kind of like his generation.
Right. Yeah, that would be a good. I wanted to see. Well, he's very humble, man. We got to get him back on. Shout out to Masatin. I just sent him a message on Facebook because he still uses Facebook, and I kind of check it every once in a while. I don't really use it, but I kind of check it. But shout out to him. Maybe he can come back on. Yeah, we got to start inviting our old guests because, like I said, we've been in 100.
And when we bring him back, it's going to be definitely on a pre-recorded. I was talking to Zero. I want to start doing some pre-recorded episodes at least once a month, just to start helping the algorithm. Because since day one, we've been just going live.
Right.
And just neglecting, videos. But it's time for me to step up.
Well, as we grow and get better at this, but because
at this point, Zero, like we're fucking professional podcasters, bro. Like we've held our own. It's once a week, it's consistent, and it's dope.
And
there's
no other audience.
And we have audience, and there's no other podcast like this one.
I really want to thank the chat because I always see,
the chat's lit right now.
Them put in their comments, and I never really like sit down and read them, but I want you to know that they're felt and that they're important. Sometimes I go there and I'll read them, and you guys will be talking to each other, and that's cool too. This is the kind of community that we want to foster here. This is the one that we want to nurture, one that knows how to communicate with each other, and your participation in the chat is very, 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 very appreciated. And with all my heart and love, I shout you guys out. Shout out to the chat. And
make sure you guys visit our merch site. It's in the link below in the description. Support, buy a t-shirt, buy a sweater. Like I said, we're going to be releasing some new material at least once a week, once every other week at the max, at the latest. But we are going to be releasing some cool stuff.
Right. And then in the next week, I already have the final steps of releasing the new song Global Pandemic. I'm gonna release a YouTube video, and then I'm also gonna put out a GoFundMe or Indiegogo because the production cost is very expensive, and right now we rely on the shirt sales and we rely on the events and all of that for this music to come out. I mean, I have a lot of music. It's just that it costs money to put it out. And so your support, you sharing the podcast, you subscribing, commenting, participating, engaging, really helps us out. If you think that our message is relevant to others, please share the podcast.
And I want to tell our audience, let us know what you guys want us to talk about, what you want Zero to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to any conversations that the community may bring up and wants to discuss. We also have a phone line that you can reach out to us. And even if you don't have a topic or you just want to say hi to Mondo or myself or anyone else that's been a part of this podcast, Daniel, Sky, feel free. This is your home. We have to foster a place where we know that when we walk into the room, we feel safe and we feel connected and we feel that we're all loved. This is what we want to build here at LA Natives. This is what we've been doing for 129 episodes. I encourage you to hear the other ones that we've done in the past, and know that we're going to go harder from this point forward because the message just has to be shared with the community that we loved. And I've been part of this community for over 25 years. When we talk about the indigenous community of indigenous Los Angeles, that's been my heart and soul for over 25 years. And I'll continue to do it till my last breath. I can't give up even though my life gets harder, even though I go through the hardest things in my life. it's meant to challenge me and to see if I'm walking and talking it the same way.
Check this out. The homie Raymond right here says he always enjoys when Daniel's on, and this is one of his favorite podcasts. He's been listening for years.
Nice.
Years.
Nice. Yeah, I love Daniel
you,
too.
brother.
We just Daniel's been busy with his father who he's just, dealing with that family issue. And so hopefully he'll come back. I let him know that the LA Natives podcast community misses him. And
he's tuning in from Navajo Nation.
So we got to I hope that one day we can, gather up the resources to go out to Navajo Nation, to go out to Hopi Land, to go out to all these places where our brothers and sisters really have to kind of know that there's other natives here in the city, that really kind of are really trying to connect to those old ways, trying to learn from whoever we can since we've been displaced for so long. But we won't look at it as a negative thing. We'll just look at it as something that our ancestors said, that, the seed would come out from the ground, from the darkness. We would reach the light. And I think we're in that time now. There's so many danzante groups. There's so many other people across Turtle Island that are waking up to
We can't let scumbags like that continue to think that way.
Yeah.
Like it's not happening.
We have to put value in our own selves, and we can't let someone devalue us or ask for
I
validation.
do appreciate the Asian homie, standing his ground, bro. He was kind of like, yo, like, what the fuck you tripping on, right? Like,
well, that's the new era for whites.
He was like, bro, like Trump's campaign was just nothing but propaganda.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the new era for whites, is that they're going to get challenged, and they're probably going to get challenged by someone of color, and that's their new. They're just not used to being challenged. They're not used to being questioned or thought of as not as smart, and the world is just kind of pulling their, the skirt up and exposing them for who they truly are, as just liars and deceivers. That's what they've been. They've never been intelligent. If they've been intelligent, then everyone in the United States would be like Libya. You know what I mean?
Damn, man, he invested in their education, gave them free healthcare, bro. Dude, I just went to the fucking emergency room like a couple years ago after I got rear-ended viciously on the freeway. But I was there at best 6 hours. They ran me through like a little, x-ray machine and shit. Bro, the bill came out to $66,000.
Damn.
I had no insurance.
Holy fuck.
So I'm fighting that bill, bro, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, Zero.
Damn.
I get rear-ended. I went to the urgent care, and then they're the ones that sent me to the emergency room, the Riverside Hospital, because they had suggested, hey, you need to get a not just an x-ray, but, this tube that they put you through and you read your whole body. I forgot the name of it. MRI.
Yeah.
So I went over there, got the MRI. I guess I was treated for 6 hours, just sitting at a fucking chair.
Damn, 66. That's $10,000,
bro. Like since when is a
$10,000 an hour?
Right. Like since when is an MRI and a 6 hour visit to the emergency room $66K, bro? It's extortion at this point.
Yeah.
And my lawyers are trying to kind of figure out it's kind of pretty high even for us to even negotiate it down. What, 20K? Right?
That's insane. Yeah. Well, that's how they get us here. It's always like we're in debt to something.
I never want to go to a hospital again. Like, for what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just fucked up for not having insurance. But
almost 100
even
racks.
if I didn't have insurance, I don't get it. Like, okay, so you guys would have billed in fucking insurance $66K?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. Damn, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Man.
For 6 hours?
I couldn't even sleep at night, bro, for years because it's a fucking bill.
Yeah, well, that's America for you. Everything's for sale. And if you don't have the money, well, they'll just put you into debt, sue you, all that.
Okay, but the homie ML says we also can't say that whites haven't contributed to society.
I don't think we're saying that. I think that
we've never said that. Please don't get this podcast episode twisted.
Yeah, no.
We're not attacking white people at all.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, when you think that your race is entitled to rule others, that's what we're kind of challenging. I know that there's always good people that happen to be of European descent. Not everyone is evil. I'm not saying that.
The homie mine says white people play good cop, bad cop.
I think last episode I kind of said there's no such a thing as good cop, bad cop anymore for people of European descent. You got to be the good cop. If not, get the fuck out the way. Because your colonial leaders are out of control right now. And it's not me saying that. That's the globe. The globe is saying that, not me. You know, so it's time for us to just kind of stand our ground, kind of be confident in who we are and what we know, and lead our families to healthy, you know, to a healthy community. They deserve it. Our children deserve a healthy community where we focus on ourselves and we help each other out of these very hard times that we're coming out of.
But most importantly, I have to say this, Zero, that everyone that's paying attention right now live and everyone that's going to check out this episode, support Zero's new single that's going to drop. It's fucking amazing.
Yes.
It's going to be through Bandcamp. It's going to be, a couple bucks?
Yeah.
And it's going to be medicine.
Yeah.
Music that's so relevant now. And you wrote it fucking years ago.
Yeah, I wrote it 5 years ago.
But it's more relevant now than ever.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you know, I've learned to be patient with my releases and know that I'm kind of putting the puzzle together. And sometimes as an artist, you paint a picture with lyrics. And I just started letting go and let the universe kind of go, okay, now's the time to put this one out. And so this one is going to be unique because I'm trying to put every release that I put out, and I want to really engage with the audience that really supports me. So I'm trying to set up an NFT for this single, and I'm going to take 260 pictures and with a photographer, and then everyone is going to have an original cover, one of one. So you'll get the single will be the same, but the cover will be different for each one. And I'm counting on the community to support that, and that'll be the collectible piece. To get that off the ground, I'm going to do a GoFundMe. And the people that support the GoFundMe are going to have like an exclusive, even more exclusive than the NFT, but we'll figure something out for those that support the GoFundMe. I mean, the people have always been my record label. And I'm going to try to make the new art so that it kind of interacts with you and you kind of get something tangible, something that can be valuable. Because I put a lot of heart and attention to what I do artistically. I feel very confident in what I do. And I hope you enjoy this next single that will be out. Hopefully in the next either couple of days or week. Hopefully by next Wednesday it'll be up. But it's going to be called Global Pandemic. And we will be releasing it on Bandcamp. And then we'll be releasing it as an NFT.
And then within a couple months, you'll see it on Spotify, YouTube, all that.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Well, we got about 4 songs done.
I think Zero needs to find a new distributor for sure.
Yeah. We got 4 songs that are completely done, that are ready to be released. But I want to release them with like intention. I want to engage with the small audience that I have. I want to give them something that I feel like I put a lot of time into. And I'm hoping that everyone will receive the new music and share it and subscribe to the podcast We can't do it without you. Know that me and Armando take this time out of our own busy days, and I know Armando's taking care of business on his end, and I definitely have to restructure my stuff. So just know that, don't take it for granted. 1 minute we probably won't come back on.
Shit, I have a big show I'm hosting fucking next week. 1,000
right.
tickets sold, currency.
Yeah. So
we're all busy dudes.
Yeah,
Zero's fucking rocking with Immortal Technique last week.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of
support
effort.
the art.
Yeah.
Like, you buy a sweater, it goes into the music videos.
Yeah. Or the single.
You buy the single, it goes into the record. That's how you support an artist, guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not to fucking stream it on Spotify and just, glorify this fucking owner that made billions and billions of dollars. His net worth, the owner of Spotify. Yeah, he fucking pays artists fucking pennies.
Yeah, it's literally
But
pennies.
if you can't beat them, join them. But look, we're gonna release it as an exclusive on Bandcamp, and then down the line, it's gonna be on YouTube, Spotify, all that good shit.
Right.
And of course, when the lyric video drops, it's gonna be on YouTube, and then potential music videos.
Yes. So be on the lookout. The new single, Global Pandemic, it'll be up soon. Please support any efforts that we do to try to raise money. It helps. That's all I can really say. I want to continue doing this. I'm going to continue doing this, whether I have tons of support or whether I have a little support. I'll figure it out. I don't give up.
Shout out to Underground Hip Hop Blog. We've been holding it down here fucking for years, huh? We just pay the rent. We pay the rent. We chill. We shoot our content. And, for our spare time and for therapy, once a week, we sit down, me and Zero, and we do LA Natives.
Yeah.
But now we're going to step it up. We need to start competing. I'm going to put out more content, more shorts. I'm going to start breaking up the segments. The live videos into segments. Fucking, I'm going to start removing the music that we play in the beginning, because for some weird reason, YouTube's fucking always giving us strikes and like threatening that, that we're not able to monetize. We're like, what the fuck? Like, you guys will never monetize us.
So that's another thing, is that we have to be creative about how we continue to sustain ourselves, because, as I said,
and when we're 129 in.
Yeah. And no one's complaining. I just think that if you do, if instead of buying a Starbucks, or whatever you buy, contribute one of those things towards this podcast, because I swear we won't let you down.
Dude, the next time you go to a mall and think about buying a fucking Nike shirt, just buy LA Native shirts. It's cooler.
There you go. So the merchandise is up on the website. There is going to be some new music, and it is going to be tied with original art, tangible art, something that you can keep and hopefully have value. I write this music, I feel, from the deepest part of my heart, and I take my time to make it a masterpiece so that it affects people, and I thank the Creator for giving me that ability to do that. I'm not sure that I'll ever give up, but I'm not going to lie. It's not easy to do when you don't have the resources to do it. But nevertheless, we're going to do our best to continue moving forward in a good way, with a good heart, because we'll always love our people. We'll always put our best effort in. We're not asking for monetization for our own personal greedy needs, but we do like to put gas in our car, have a place to stay. All those things are real.
And if anyone wants to go into the Currency Show coming up Saturday on the 17th, just DM LA Natives Podcast, and I'll get you guys in.
There it is.
It's sold out. It's a sold out show.
Yeah, and Mondo's been very generous with his promotional shows and helping me. I just want to say thank you, bro. You're like a day oneer, and I appreciate you for lasting this long with me, because my El Vu career had a little pause, but then I came into this solo career with this podcast, and you've been a right-hand man when it comes to this, and I just want to thank you. So shout out to Amando for that.
sure.
And shout out to the community that supports us and comes in and puts their comments in our chat and really believes in our message. We really care about you, and this is why we will never, ever, ever hold our voice. We will always fight for our community till our last breath. Our ancestors understood the ways of the universe, and there's a long way to go to understanding that again. And know that it's not difficult to get to this place of understanding, this place of connection. This place lives within inside of you. It's like galaxies and galaxies of stars exist inside of us. We just have to take the time to see it. We'll see you.